When I was growing up, I felt like I didn't see who I wanted to become modeled for me. I would look at artists like Da Vinci and Michelangelo and geniuses like Tesla and Benjamin Franklin. I'd be looking for the female version of them, not knowing where to find it. I wanted to find my own way. I didn't want to be a mother. I didn't want to be married to a man. Like, that's not the existence I was hoping to have. I wanted to be in places where people were building cool stuff, or there were just things going on and things to do. I didn't want to be a subservient woman, and I knew that I could never be. There's a reason I was drawn to this medium.
I made that.
The fire speaks to me, the metal speaks to me, the smell of the metal dust speaks to me. It's familiar, it's home, but it's also familiar and home because I grew up in my dad's metal shop.
What's up, Dad?
Got a project for you.
Remember when I used to jump when you would light the torch? And then you told me,
Oh, like that?
yeah, like that. Now I go in and I'm looking down at the tables, but I was kind of looking up at the tables at that age. It just seemed like there were so many possibilities and like all the tools, all the metal, all the everything. I'm like, wow, how do they do this? How do they make things stick together? What happens here? Okay. Sometimes I'd work with my dad on more blacksmith-oriented pieces. If my dad would say, yeah, my daughter is a blacksmith, she'll do this part of the work. And then I meet the customer, they'll step back a little bit and be like, oh, I was picturing some big burly person. Ooh, it's heavier than me. Okay. I'm never gonna fit that mold. I'm more of like this whimsical fairy who flutters into their living room and they're like, what would you like? Bippity boppity boo. I think one of the things that makes my work unique is that it has a certain organic nature to it. One of my driving forces is wanting to show people what's possible with this medium and doing something different with it than the norm of just making boxy linear shapes. Some of these elements could use a feminine touch where it becomes more organic or flowy. With more feminine energy, it just can become a little more beautiful, have that touch of beauty instead of just structure and serving a purpose, having beauty to it as well. I can see in my mind's eye how to make something three-dimensional and how to make it work. You can see a painter start on a layer and they end up covering the colors that they put down, and I think in a way that's what I create in metal is I put down a layer and then add more layers to it and build a structure out of it that ends up feeling like it's alive. I like drawing and I like painting, but one of the appeals to steel is it does transform. It does transform in front of your eyes in a way that paintings and drawings don't. When you put something into the fire, you're literally transforming it and taking it from one shape into a totally different shape. And then when it cools down, it is that shape and it's not going to bend unless you heat it again. No matter how many mistakes it took to get to the end of it, and maybe it's still not the end even though I'm okay, I'm done because I'm calling it done, I've changed and I've learned by the end of the piece. There's a million ways to come up with ideas for art pieces. One of my all-time favorites is using my dreams as inspiration. When you're dreaming, every part of the dream is a small reflection of an aspect of you. When you start to study and uncover and scratch deeper than just the surface level of what a dream might appear to be, it can give you a message that will change your life. So the Nick Art Show, I just titled simply Dreams. I did a lot of pieces that were inspired by my dreams. In a way, this was a project for myself where I'm doing dream work to interact with the messages from my dreams, but I'm also sharing it with other people in hopes that maybe they'll have some kind of experience themselves. What I loved about doing a show at the Nick was not just putting pieces on the wall to try to impress people, because I don't feel like that's what art is really about. I wanted to create an experience for people and let people into my own world. After doing just mostly straight commissions for 11 years, I want to start to offer classes where people can learn metalworking techniques on an artistic level.
A little further away? You're a little too close. Yeah, right there. Nice, beautiful.
And I also want to offer dream workshops and teach people to uncover what their subconscious mind is trying to tell them and to cultivate a community around that. The process of doing an art piece out of a dream image helps you to bring it into the physical realm. All right, come on over.
Okay, kind of go up, straight up and down with it. Yep, just like that.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. So now we're gonna let it cool and you can hang out and wait for the next step. Dreams, we forget them so easily because we're not paying attention. But when you start to pay attention and you do something physical with it, it tells the subconscious mind that you're listening. And once you make that contact and you show some effort, your unconscious mind will give you more information.
All good? Yeah, I like it. I like it too. Cool.
When we realize that we're the only person stopping ourselves, it sets you free to be anything or do anything. I had such a strong desire to just do what I wanted to do that I found a way anyway. I was lucky. I got to learn this from my dad growing up. Like I didn't have to go to school for it. I want to just share the gifts and tools that I have with people who don't have a dad who has a shop. I just want to offer that space to people so that they can create. Relationships are the only thing we have. I wouldn't be Betsy Bauer without my friends and family. I'm not anybody without them. We're a network, we're a net here. There's something to be said about having that and having people and places to go where I feel totally loved and accepted and just celebrated.